And welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. I wanted to kick it old school for this video. Really old. Like getting medieval on you. Because in this video, I want to talk about chainmail. Yes, I have a chainmail shirt. This is something I bought back in 1986. There was a medieval fair going on here in Vancouver. And the local chapter of the Society for Creative Anachronism, I'll put their website below, they were having a medieval fair, and they had all kinds of tournaments going on, people dressed up in sort of homemade armor, and they were hitting each other with wooden swords and running around, and it was a very, very fun event. And in one of the stores, or one of the little marketplace things, there was this chainmail shirt sitting there for $75. And I just thought, oh, I got to get myself a chainmail shirt. That's fantastic. Now, this must have been made by hand back then. Like, if you can see, there's individual links, circular links that had been hammered together to make this shirt. And whoever did it, they must have spent a long time doing it. I know in this modern time of eBay and Amazon, you can get a chainmail shirt for the same price I paid for this, about 75 bucks. But back then, it was not a thing, and certainly there were no online ways of buying something like this. So when I saw this sitting in that stall, I thought, well, 75 bucks is a lot of money, especially back then when I didn't have a job, but I need to get myself a chainmail shirt. Why do I need to get myself a chainmail shirt? Well, I played a lot of Dungeons & Dragons back then, and of the different types of armor you could use in that game, chainmail was kind of the one that I always adhered to. I thought it was the best bang for your buck, if you will. In the rules of the game, it's a lot more easy to wear. You've got better maneuverability wearing it. It's not quite as heavy as the, well, that's a relative term, which I'll get to later. But it's not quite as heavy as the plate mail armor that you typically think of when you think knight in shining armor. And it also provided very, very good protection for the cost and the benefit you get of maneuverability. So I always liked chainmail. I mean, yes, I would go up to plate mail if my character would be able to, but I had a soft spot for chainmail because I always thought it's the best type of armor that there is out there. So when I saw actual real chainmail in this festival, I thought, yeah, I gotta buy me some. Now, just to give you an idea, I have this very good book from quite a few years ago. Knights by Julek Heller and Deirdre Hedden. And in it, there's a nice diagram here that shows a typical medieval soldier in chainmail. Even shows a very good description or a drawing of how the links are interlocked. And yeah, whoever made this thing, they must have actually followed that pattern and circled each piece of metal, hammered it all together. That would have been a big job. But anyway, and of course this is the plate mail that we're all used to from anytime you think of knights in armor. That's what you're thinking of. Now, I want you to just compare the way these two fellows look as far as like how easy would it be to walk around and move around? What would your maneuverability be like? Because I had a conversation once with my dungeon master in D&D. We would be, I don't know, out in the forest, in the middle of the night, being asleep, and be attacked by trolls or goblins or whatever. And I would, of course, leap into action, saying I draw my sword and I take on the beasts. And my dungeon master would say, well, okay, fine, but you know they're going to be able to hit you pretty easily because you're obviously not sleeping in your armor. And I just thought, what? What are you talking about? He said, no, you're not going to be able to sleep in that stuff. Now, I think, sure, that argument could be made of plate mail. Nobody's going to sleep in that. Having said that, I think I've read in historical documents, sometimes out on the field in their horses, some knights, because it was so hard to get up there and get down again, they actually would sleep in their armor. But that's beside the point. For our discussion, he said, no, you're not sleeping in your armor. You'd have to put that on. And I just thought, well, that's counterintuitive. In the case of chainmail, it's like wearing a sweater. Of course you could sleep in that stuff. But he was very adamant, no, that's not going to happen. So, when I bought this shirt, well, you know what I did, because you've already seen the title of this video. I actually put this on one night, and I slept in my armor. And I can tell you, I can report back if I could travel back in time and have a conversation with my dungeon master. Yeah, you can sleep in chainmail. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, perhaps in his mind there was like a tougher cotton outfit underneath to withstand some of the blows, and maybe that's why he thought. But certainly if you're out there in a dangerous environment, yeah, you can sleep in chainmail. And it is actually surprisingly, even this stuff, this modern constructed recreation of chainmail, I was really surprised how it really does protect you. I mean, sure, if you take a baseball bat to it, you're going to feel the blow going through the material, but it does sort of dissipate some of the impact. Just, I mean, I had friends tap me lightly with something like a baseball bat just so that I could feel what it was like. And yeah, I was surprised. It actually dispersed some of that initial impact. Yeah, the full force of the blow would hit me. But let's say you take your average medieval dagger and you're trying to kill somebody with that. I mean, it doesn't really impact the chain. Like, you know, it does an amazing job. It's really good stuff. And medieval fellas really knew what they were talking about. So, what's it like to wear chainmail? I will show you in a minute. I did find with this stuff, super cold when you first put it on, because it's, you know, it's like metal, right? It'll conduct whatever the temperature is of whatever's around it real easily. So at first, it's super chilly to wear this stuff. But after a minute or two, it warms up with you, and it's like wearing a really heavy sweater in a way. Now, let me try this thing on, just to prove my point. So, what's it like to put on a chainmail shirt? Well, let's try it out. Now, I will warn you, any of these ones around the edges as you put your head through, they might catch hairs, so that's something to be aware of. But it basically just goes on like a sweater. Put that through there, arms through there, arms through there, and it just goes right down like that. What's really nice about chainmail is it has a lot of give. Like it's quite, those medieval designers were really quite smart. There's a lot of movement. If you were in combat, you've got a lot of agility. It breathes with you. As I mentioned earlier, it's cold at first, but it does warm up with you, and then it's actually quite enjoyable to wear. Heavy though. Imagine you're wearing like a really heavy sweater with another sweater on top. And it's soaking wet. It's heavy. Anyway, yeah, it feels perfectly fine to wear it. Again, just be careful around the edges with these little bits of metal. They might catch hairs. If you get one that has like long sleeves, you're going to want a long sleeve shirt on underneath. So there is my chainmail shirt. Why I have it, where I got it, how long I've owned it for. You're going to see this in an upcoming video, so I thought rather than just let it be in the background and people wondering if it was just a sweater, I wanted to go into some actual detail about the chainmail shirt itself. And I really enjoy telling my sleeping in it stories, so I thought I might share that with you. If you wanted to get a chainmail shirt, there are plenty of places that you can get them nowadays. Amazon, eBay, all kinds of places, and for about the same price. I've seen full chainmail shirts with sleeves for about 75 bucks, so it's a very attainable thing nowadays. It wasn't back in 1986. One thing I would caution you, if you're going to buy some, make sure that the dealer does do either free shipping, which I have seen, or very reasonable shipping. The weight of this shirt is pretty considerable. So we'll see you down the rabbit hole.